Welcome back to another episode of the 9 Point Day podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Langworthy. And this week we have a very special guest, and I'm really excited for it. But first, I'm going to do the housekeeping stuff. I'm going to do the same thing I did previous weeks, where I've got a list of games and I'm going to read them off and kind of give a description about them, the dates, where you can sign up for them, things like that. This is super important for the games. We want the games to grow. We want to make it super easy for people to be able to sign up and know where to go to sign up, and things like that. So this is all kind of part of that. But these are in no particular order. Just kind of how I typed them out on the list and how I'm going to read them off is just some are dates or whatever, right? You get it. So first off, going down my list, we got the Whaling Coast Highland Games, and that will be in North Stonington, Connecticut on July 26th. All classes are available, so yay for that. And all the proceeds go to a charity for veterans, mental health, and things like that. So that's really cool, neat for them. Registration is open still. And it's on Heavy Athlete, heavyathlete.com, which is where most of these games are going to be at. It's where most games are these days. If you want to sign up for them, look at Heavy Athlete. Go to the Find Games page and just scroll down there and find one that's near you. That's a good way to start. But most of these are on Heavy Athlete. I think only one of them is not. That's okay. They'll come around soon. But sign up is available until the 28th on those. So they made sure to put that in there. So don't wait. Get in when you can. Up next is the Flagstaff Highland Games in Flagstaff, Arizona on July 19th and 20th. 2-day games. They are running 2 days full of AM classes. But the highlight of this games in Flagstaff is going to be the West Coast Championships. So there's both men and women, amateurs, and you need to, if you want to be part of that. So what they're doing, right, is they have a West Coast and East Coast Championships, and the SAAA and Sean Smith and those guys are putting together it on the West Coast, and like Backyard Rebellion is doing one on the East Coast, and they're going to meet in the middle somewhere and duke it out to who has the best throwers in the country. Something like that, right? But this is for the best AMs in the region. So if you are an up and coming amateur, you have ambitions of going pro and things like that, this is one you don't want to sleep on. You want to get signed up. All classes are available, but if you want to participate in the West Coast Championships, that has a couple more steps. If you go to heavyathlete.com and find the Flagstaff Highland Games page, they will give you all the information you need to do if you want to be part of that. But so on Heavy Athlete, look up for that. Look out for that stuff. And I think on the next one, this one's Skagit Valley Highland Games in Mount Vernon, Washington. This is July 12th and 13th, and registration is on Heavy Athlete and ends June 18th. So you still got some time, but again, just like the Whaling Coast, don't want to wait. Get your registrations in there as quickly as possible if you are up in that area of Washington. Hell, if you're up there, Northern California, Oregon, Washington, Canada, right? Go to these games. Why not? You're close-ish. Then we have on June 7th and 8th is the Georgia Mountain Scottish Festival. And that is a Backyard Rebellion games. So if you want to sign up for that one, it's 2-day games, all classes. You register on backyardrebellion.com. This is one of the ones that are not on Heavy Athlete. And Danny Webster has his whole method of signups and a whole website devoted to that. So that's where you have to go if you want to go to that one. And I recommend it. Backyard Rebellion games are good to go, man. Like, they treat you right. Implements are good, and it's generally a pretty fun time. Can't complain. So sign up for that one. then we kind of get into the ones that I am going to be at. So I'll be at home games, the No Fame home games in Milford, Massachusetts, June 21st. Um, this will be my third games of the year. Uh, so that one is actually going to be very sick. Every year, the people at No Fame are always stepping up. They're trying to do something bigger, trying to do something better. And this year, along with a full open class, pros and amateurs competing against each other to like catch wrestling, Irish wrestling, um, stone lifting, and a lot of guys are coming in from overseas, from Ireland and Europe and things like that. And there's a lot of really neat stuff. If you're a nerd of strength culture, this is definitely a games you don't want to miss. There's a ton of history being showcased there and being developed. So you be part of that. I'm going to be part of that. I'm going to be part of that every year. They treat us right. Um, the amateur classes are still open. If you wanted to compete in the open, that's full. There's no more spots available, but the amateur classes, men's, women's, masters, lightweights, things like that, I believe they have spots open. And so if you want to participate in that, go to heavyathlete.com. Again, look for the Find a Games Near You page or whatever it's called, and look up for No Fame home games. Make sure you sign up on the right one, because one is for the open, one is for the regular amateurs. But yeah, then next is this will be the next weekend, the Cortez Celtic Fair, or festival. I can't remember which one exactly it is, but it is in Cortez, Colorado on June 28th. I'll be there. I'll be throwing. This is a newer games. This is a newer games put on by Mona and Grant and things like that. And they so it's a little bit smaller, but registration is still up. So if you are interested in that, go sign up on heavyathlete.com if you want to compete in one of the amateur classes. Um, but yeah, I'll be there. So uh, then the next one is Woodridge Farms. And this is the Woodridge Farms and Blue Ridge Championships. So Woodridge Farms, your regular Highland Games pro class, all the amateurs. But if you want to participate in the Blue Ridge Championships, there's just like earlier with the West Coast Championships, there are some kind of things you got to do, right? It's only valid for people who throw in a few certain states or have competed in these states. And it's like, I don't know, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, maybe. You have to look it up. They'll give you all the information if you go to heavyathlete.com and look up that game. So they'll give you all the information whether or not you qualify for the or the Blue Ridge Championship. But I'll be there competing in the open with some other just real baddies, a whole lot of them. It's gonna be a real fun time. That's kind of going to be possibly my season ender. We'll see how things shake out for a couple more things, but excited for that one. It's on September 20th, so you got some time. Registration's still up. It's going to be up for a minute. Don't miss out on it. Jeremy is doing a really good job of trying to build the sport and do things different, do things new. And last one on my list. This one's very important to me. This is my games. This is the games I'm running here in Kansas. It's going to be in Lawrence, Kansas, and it's called the Free State Highland Games. It's on October 18th. You can sign up for that on heavyathlete.com. I am super excited for it. It is going to be very cool. This is not like other Highland Games we've had in the region. The venue that we're throwing at is different, and it's going to be a bit of a challenge in some ways, but man, it makes it so much easier for some of the other stuff, right? So the idea is we're going to be throwing off of platforms. You might have seen something similar to this, like at Enumclaw, where they're throwing it like in a dirt lot, and they're throwing off of like AstroTurf platforms, and we're going to be doing the same thing. So the challenge is it's not going to be great for hammers, right? Just because you can't use blades, you're using tennis shoes. And that's fine, because I think it makes up for it because you're able to throw off of like a stable like platform for weights and stones and things like that. It's 5 events. If everyone moves along quickly and like kind of burns through the day, we're going to circle back around. We're going to do the other 5 events. We're going to get as many events as we can in, but as it sets right now for time, we are doing 5, and the venue just kind of allows that to be more ideal. But it's a split session, so if you're an amateur, you get to throw in the morning and into the afternoon. Then we're going to have a stone lifting competition in the middle of it. There's going to be a natural stone lifting competition. I don't have signups for that yet. I will really soon, so just be on the lookout for that. Then after the stone lifting, we are having the big show, right? This is what I want to see in Highland Games, is a real big show with the best athletes. So stick around, stay tuned for that. There's opportunity for people to win money, for amateurs to win money. We're not throwing sheaf during the daytime. So like your normal session is where you normally throw sheaf. We're saving that to the end when like the big crowd is showing up. We're gonna have a jackpot sheaf where we start a little bit higher. We're not starting it at whatever your opener is. Like it's gonna be up there. Again, for time, keep the thing moving and make it a real challenge. But if you win, you get money. So yay for that. I'm kind of ranting about this game, but just look it up. It's on heavyathlete.com. Please sign up. I really, really want to see all of you guys out there. Everyone's been super supportive so far with the podcast, and I was asked for a little bit more support and make it out to Lawrence, Kansas on October 18th. All right, now let's kind of get into the episode. I have a very special guest. His name is Nate Burchett. Some would know by Nasty Nate, Nate Brand Goods, things like that, right? He's a figure in the Highland Games, man. He's been around forever. He's been at my first Highland Games, as he's been a first at many people's Highland Games. So, and man, the dude just has a long history. He's been throwing for like 20 plus years, ever since he was a kid. He's one of the very few people I know who's been throwing like Highland Games since they were children. So let's go hear more from him. He's got a lot to say. This is a 2-parter, by the way. There is going to be a second part next week, because we went a little long. We get to yapping, right? But here it is. Here's Nate Burchett. Thank you.
Still got mad at him. I told him straight to his face that he needed to, when he changed his name, it's not as fun. It'd be Nate Brand Goods.
Yeah.
Nate Dead Yet just doesn't have quite the same ring to it. So.
Right. Nate Brand Goods. I remember seeing that on his YouTube channel. Like he wrote it on a shirt or something.
Oh yeah. It was definitely the running meme
like,
for years.
Perfect.
Well, I even like I can't remember what year. It's probably like 2014 Victoria,
mm-hmm.
and Andy, his brother, somebody from the crowd gave him this bull hat, like this fuzzy bull hat that he was wearing, and then it was like an official photo from Victoria that year, and I took it and photoshopped the little symbol in the middle of it to be Nate Brand Goods. And I sent it to everybody, and then Andy reposted it.
Yeah,
it's like, thanks for Nate Brand Goods sponsoring me and everything, and people thought it was real.
I think I've seen that.
I was like old, and oh man, I just laughed until I cried that time.
Yeah.
Like everybody was kind of leaning into the joke for years, and Nikita and Emily Adams made me. They actually at the Claw a handful of years ago. They made Nate Brand Goods stuff. Like I wore a cut off Nate Brand Goods shirt for Caber for years, for about 2 seasons, until it just got too disgusting because I never washed it.
Oh yeah, it just goes back in the box.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And mine's bad. Mine's like the big. The snowboard bag.
Oh yeah.
So it's even more gross because there's canvas.
Yeah.
It gets real soggy.
Yeah. I ditched the box a long time ago, went with the duffel bag because it fits my trunk a lot easier. Like even like the big, like whatever the one from Lowe's is, like the big box, like it fits in the trunk. It's just a pain to get in there.
Well, and to be honest, so when you're traveling a lot more as a pro, you want to bring your fork. And so that's why I went with the bag. It was Matt Doherty. I don't know how many years ago. He kept showing up with them. It's like, what is this? It's a snowboard bag.
Yeah.
And And so some people showed up with the surf bags, which are gigantic.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what you should be using
That's
there.
not it.
Maybe you should go down the size. I mean, it was legitimately longer than this bed. It was just
Right.
like unbelievably long. Yeah, but
I found I got a snowboard bag for my fork, and my fork is long. It's an Irvin fork, and the handle's not cut down. Like, it is full length. It is 6.5 feet tall or whatever.
oh well,
It's
and
so like I couldn't just get any random snowboard bag. I had to measure the fork and like look at all the specs of the bag. And like most snowboard bags, especially the ones that are like, $30 to $45 or whatever, like they are not that size. So I had to get
No.
one that's adjustable, like that, like will cinch down.
so why? So do you use the whole fork? Do you use, or is it just like I don't want to doctor this because it's working? Superstition.
Both. Well, I like the length of it because like it balances out a little bit better. Like having that extra like bit on the end like seems to make sense throughout the throw. And there's a lot of people who cut the ends off their forks and then they realize like, oh, I need to go longer now. Like,
Yeah.
I need a longer grip. And one of these days I might find out that my grip is too narrow and I need to stretch it out. So I'm going to leave it on there just in case.
Yeah, I just know how long those are, and you definitely don't need.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Your reach isn't
who
even that
knows?
long.
Like, I might need to be out like that full like snatch grip.
You're gonna figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know something you don't know, but no, actually, mine is literally just a fork that nobody else likes. I just like it for spinning sheaf.
Yeah.
It holds onto the bag so unbelievably well, and everybody hates it except for me.
Yeah.
But I just I got it from I can't even remember what farm and home store, but it was just some random one that I started throwing and liking it, but it didn't fit in the trunk. So I literally had to cut 2 inches off of it to get into the trunk of my old car. And it ended up fitting perfectly into standard, the small size Burton bag. So
right.
Well,
and like cutting the end off too, and I've talked to other people about this, like you can't round that off like good enough. Like like how it's rounded off in the end from the factory is perfect. And if you try to do it, like it's never going to be exactly right.
Now, well, and maybe I'm just too redneck, but I don't care. Just chop it right off, and it'll be harsh edges, and if you get splinters, cool.
Yeah,
that thing has been used and abused. I've been rolling with it for my entire pro career.
Yeah,
and it like even has like a weird. It moves a little bit, and I'm like, this is probably going to break sometime, but we'll figure it out when it breaks, and it hasn't yet. So. And that was literally 5 or 6 years ago. It started to move like that.
Yeah.
Keep resetting it and move along with life.
Mine, when I got it, because I didn't get it directly from Irvin. I got it from Skylar Arneson, who got it from Dan Tennyson. And by the time I got it, this thing has just been abused. The head like has been held together with like liquid nails and like there's tape all over it. And I was like, and I'm pulling on it, like there's like 3 inches of like play of like the head just jiggling in there.
Well, let's be real. If it was in Tennyson's hands, that thing threw sheaf high. So.
Yeah, it. Thankfully, like I've been with it long enough that I've outthrown the last 2 owners with it. So, yay for that.
Nice. Well, I remember during a run, both Dan and I were throwing really, really high, and he went world record attempt, no height, world record attempt, no height in 4 consecutive games.
Yeah.
But he's just like, well, it's either feast or famine with this guy. So
well, it's kind of hard to be consistent when you throw with your feet off the ground.
Well, yeah, big old jump backwards and trying.
Yeah.
But no, that's somebody that I miss in the games.
Yeah.
Old Dan.
He's a stud.
Oh, yeah.
He's got cool tattoos. He has Thug Life tattooed on his toes. And I saw that one day. I was like, that's just the coolest thing. It's so cool.
How do I get so cool?
Yeah.
And then all the ladies love him. He's just the right amount of dirty.
That's it. Yeah.
Just a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of sheaf forks, you could always do the Isaac approach. So Isaac legitimately would just have a random bag. He would rip the head off of it, throw it in his bag, and then he would go buy a new handle every single game that he had to fly.
I
Like,
mean,
what are you doing? And he's like, yeah, it's just easier. And then he would leave the handle in the hotel room every game. It's like, you can hand this to somebody at the game. It's like, I forget.
yeah,
He just leaves it.
yeah. I mean, dude, that's one way to do it. That's crazy though.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
I don't think Isaac has done too many things efficiently.
He can throw a sheaf though, so he might be onto something.
He is a fantastic top. I don't know, maybe top 10 all-time sheafer. He's got to be up there.
I mean, he's had a lightweight sheaf world record before.
Yeah. I think he was 31, 32, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we didn't do the under 200. We were the under 190s.
You were children.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean there's that too.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I would have developed like I did in the Highland Games if it wasn't for the handful of years that I threw lightweight. That was huge developmentally for both Isaac and I.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of guys that I try to convince them to go to the lightweight class for a year or two.
Yeah,
just try it out. You might stay there because you like it. You like being healthier or whatever. Like, because like I tell these people, I'm like, you are not a peak fucking athlete. Like, you are not crushing it on all fronts. You're not that strong. You're not that fast.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you were to lose 30 pounds, you're going to be just as strong. You're probably going to be faster.
Yeah.
And just do that and learn to throw.
I've made a decent career out of being really fast, not overly strong,
Yeah.
but you can throw far being fast.
Yep.
I mean, speed is what essentially is what gets it to go as far as it goes. It's just how fast you can move that implement.
Yep.
And so you don't have to be unbelievably strong. I mean, there was times where I was pretty strong for the normal human, but very like under strength for a lot of the top pros. Like,
yeah.
And my heaviest that I ever weighed was like 260. So, which is still pretty light when in comparison with the average, but you can throw far, but I wouldn't say that everybody's path is the same as mine, being just a lighter human.
Right. It is weird to think that we are light for the pros. Like, we're small, compared to the rest of them.
I was gonna say, how much do you weigh right now?
250.
Ooh, I'm a little lighter than you are. Yeah. So
I got my weight snuck up on me. This off season, it kind of just started just going up, and I wasn't ready for it to go up, and I was like, well, I'm fat now. Okay, cool.
I guess we'll throw heavyweight. Well, yeah.
I wish. You'd think
that was the only thing that went up when I got. So I guess I take that back. The first time I got up to like 260 in the 260s, the first time I was like pretty fast still, very athletic, really strong. And those were my best numbers across the board. It was like 2015-ish, 2015 into 2016, I was around that weight. And then I got that weight a little bit later, but I did it a lot more chubby, and I couldn't throw anything. Yeah. I was like, I threw heavyweight really well, and that was it.
Yeah.
I could rock through about 40 to 42, 43, somewhere in there. I was pretty much always good for that. But then it was just, no, I can't even touch 75 in the light. I just cannot move. Very jiggly.
Just rolling through the trig. Here we go.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, exactly. Just,
and I think like 265 for guys that are 6'2" to like an under, I think that's like very good weight if you put it on correctly. Like, that is good weight to throw all the events. But I mean, like, and I tell it to be like, well, John Van Buren's fucking 7'9" or whatever.
Yeah, well,
I'm like, he can't be 260. Yes, like, not him.
No, he is like a lean 300.
Right.
When he was winning everything, he was still a pretty lean 315 or whatever it was.
You can like do like the force perspective and like put him back a little bit, and like he'll be the same shape that I'm thinking that other people should
exactly
aspire to.
And I mean, and I really like the sport because you have such a drastic difference of body type, and still you can throw really, really well. Like a Nick Aston
Yeah.
is just an unbelievable athlete. And I think that he'll, when he's like in that 240, 250 range, pretty consistent, maybe into that 260s, like that's when you'll see Nick. He might, I even told him, like, your hammer numbers might dip a little bit, but everything else will get better.
Yeah.
And then you'll just realize that, oh, I'm still one of the top hammer throwers in the world,
Right.
and now everything else is even more competitive.
I mean, yeah, like when you compare it to like the rest of the group, you're like, oh, I've got 15 feet at a minimum on both events that I can spare on hammers. So like,
I mean, that was the big reason why when I first turned pro, I'm late amateur and early pro. It's like there's no reason to ever train hammer ever, because I have because it was like when Dan was throwing nuts, and so it's like, okay, I have to put 15 feet on my light hammer and 10 plus feet on my heavy hammer to even sniff Dan.
right.
And then there's not really that many people in there that were throwing. Like there was Craig Sinclair was throwing well at the time, and a handful of other guys like Sinclair Patience, and but there wasn't like a ton of really, really top tier, but everybody could throw stones really well, and everybody could throw weights really well. So it's like, I got to put time and effort into these events that I'm just getting killed.
Right.
And so that's why I was like, okay, I know I can make up points in weights. Stones, if I can get to the high 40s, then we're going to call it, because that's like, I just have to beat the other mediocre stone throwers.
Right.
And then I'm not going to bleed points.
Yeah, you just can't be on the bottom at any event. Like that's what you're shooting for, is just not be at the bottom at any event.
Well, and that's what sucks when like at big games, you bookend the entire weekend with my two worst events, which is Bramer Stone and weight over bar.
Right.
So it's like, oh, why do we have to do the power events at the beginning and the end? You know,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if I can spin, I'm okay, but obviously spin to win is not at every game. So,
which is weird. I don't understand that.
I mean, I get it. I fully get it.
I don't fully get it.
I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was.
Well, are you putting the weight over the bar? It goes over, right? Like, how do you? It doesn't matter how you get it over.
Yeah, but then so I don't know if you have seen my newest technique in weight over bar, but I do a full two spin for wob.
Yeah,
and because this is the only event that there's no boundaries.
Yeah,
I've debated going like a three spin if I
just
could hold
big
on.
Nasty spins,
just like whoa, and then rip the snot out of it. And at Florida earlier this year, I made 16 by like legit 2 feet, and I'm like, cool, like, and then I blew my hand apart, and so I couldn't make any good shots at 17. But even Nick came over, and was like, what got into you? That's the highest I've ever seen you throw. I was like, I don't know, speed.
Yeah, I've seen. I think I'm trying to remember. I think it was Nick Kahanick did a two spin on weight over bar.
Oh, I've never seen.
I think it was at North South one year.
I don't even remember seeing Nick ever spin weight over bar.
It might not have been him, but that's what I'm thinking of.
I ripped it from Kerry Overfelt, and so KO, and I think Craig did, and then I know Ryan Vieira did at a games. They all did a two spin. Yeah. And Vieira went a very easy 18 with it and then never did it again. Because he's like, we're already cheating. This is a little too cheaty, I think.
Cheating.
But yeah, there was like a games, I think 3 guys made 17 by a large margin, and then Ryan Vieira made a very comfortable 18, and then they all just like, let's be done. Yeah. So, and then I dusted it off 20 years after. I've been trying to get specifically some of the lady throwers that are throwing that, because like I was trying to get Alyssa to do a double spin, because Alyssa Van Vleck, like with the speed that she can get, oh man, I think that could be just a straight game changer.
Yep.
But yet again, it could also ruin your weight for distance too. But
I've tried to spin the 56. I just can't. It's too oppressive. I don't know how to make it any better, but
Well,
maybe do it more.
started, well, so I stopped casting it super high.
Okay.
So my cast doesn't go above like my shoulders. I try to get really linear and just pick up all the speed and then let it drop. So
Okay.
it's moving so much faster, but I'm not fighting gravity as hard. Because with the
Okay.
42, I cast it really high, and then you come around the
Yeah.
corner. But I'm not strong enough with the 56.
Well, see, I think that might be why I started having trouble with it, is because I'm casting it really high, like it's the 42.
Yeah, if you cast it too high, I have a harder time because I can't get onto double support really fast.
Yeah.
And then I'm like trying to fight it with 1 foot and that 56, and I don't have enough counterbalance.
Right.
So, but if I cast it out a lot farther, then I can get on double support, and also I have a little bit further of an arc instead of just going straight up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worked out for a handful of years doing it that way. But yeah, I can't cast it really high and then catch it, because I will rip my shoulder out of socket and die.
And die. Yeah.
Instant death.
I mean, one of the reasons, like, as well, is that I started making my sprint and the weights huge,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm like, what's too big now? I'm like, I'm finishing big, finish, and like I'm a foot over. Both feet are like over the trig, and I was like, how did that happen? It's like, oh, it's because I've been trying to go crazy like one turns for height.
Oh yeah.
And it just screwed everything up.
Oh, I had exactly that happen to me at, I think it was 2010 Am Worlds. I was duking it out with like Ryan Stewart and Chris Lemming were the two top weight throwers at the time. And I was going for broke trying to beat both of them, and I caught one, like crushed it, and then they call foul, and I look down and the trig is in between my feet.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, that makes sense. Yeah. I was like, I must have been very high in the air I didn't even feel the toe board.
Yep.
Just okay, cool. I guess, but it would have been really far had they measured it.
Yeah.
But no,
was that Amateur Worlds in Minnesota?
Yeah. They bounced around because there was like Pleasanton and the Minnesota ones, and then IHGF would have theirs that traveled around too. And so depending on, I think that they only had all three of them at the same time for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I never won the IHGF one. I got second to Matt 1 year, but yeah, I never won that one. Got close.
Yeah.
Got close.
Yeah. Let me get my water before I forget. Get my mouth even more dry.
See, that's the way I roll. But no, I trying to rehydrate after playing 3 hours of volleyball.
Yeah, that's so you went and played volleyball.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go throw a Highland Games tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and I played 2 other days this week, volleyball too.
Why do you play so much volleyball?
I love volleyball. Volleyball's my favorite.
All right.
So I've played competitive volleyball for years.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So in Iowa, there's some good. Actually, I coach my daughter's club team, and the community college out there wants the head coach out there wants me to come coach, be their setters coach and stuff like that. I just love volleyball, and now that I'm mostly retired from Highland Games, I play a lot more volleyball now.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm doing Highland Games, pick up a handful of games a year because so I was already here for work. I was in Pennsylvania for work, and it ended up working out. So I was like, I'll just schedule my office trip at the same times as this games, and then come hang out with this group, because this is some of my favorite people in the games that go to this one, and so get to hang out and still see some of my favorite people that I don't get an opportunity to unless I compete still. So
yeah.
But
I've never been to Maryland before. Well, I guess I've been to DC, which I think we went into Maryland at one point on the trip. I don't know how it all works out. I think right now we're in Delaware, I think.
You might be right.
I'm not entirely sure. Dude, there's like Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. It's like all within like a mile of right where we're at.
Yeah. Well, and whenever I would, drive up and stay with Jeff Cast and
Mhm.
go to different games and stuff, we like drive for 5 minutes, and he's like, "We went to 4 states." It's like, what? Oh man, what is this? What is this place?
This is Europe.
Yeah, I know. What the Northeast is a lot of tiny little states up here.
Yep.
But yeah, and I know that Nikita and Frank they live in Delaware, and so it's like, but it was like right around the corner from Maryland and Pennsylvania, and it's like it's all the same.
Right. Well, and like that's like, but in the Midwest, everything is just so far,
Oh yeah,
so far. And so when I was like booking the hotel, and I was like, oh, it's a whole other state, like from where we're actually going to be throwing, and I was like, oh,
it's like 6 minutes away.
it's 6 minutes away. And coming into town, coming into the hotel today, I drove right by the field. I went and stopped and walked around for a little bit. But I was like looking around. I'm like, as I'm driving by the road, I was like, I think it's where the games are at. So I just pulled off and I was like, let's see. Sure enough.
Did you go find the horse track that we're throwing on?
Yeah, it's like old asphalt, gravel
Yeah,
on sand.
yeah, it's more like kitty litter.
It's kitty litter. That's exactly what it is. I walked around and like I took a video of it and sent to my wife. I'm like, what is this?
Well, and like I told you, so the first year that we threw on that, well, the first year that I threw on that, it was like super compacted. It rained, and so it was super compacted, and then everybody was wearing cleats,
Yeah.
and they were sliding around all over the place. And I just wear just regular tennis shoes, and I just like hover over the top of it. And I'm like, wow, how come you're not sliding? And everybody else is like doing the splits during their finish and all sorts of stuff. And then the last year that we threw here, it was a torrential downpour. So
yeah, I saw rain on the radar, and I was like,
nah, but
it'll be fine.
Tomorrow is supposed to be
Yeah.
all done before we even start, which would be nice.
Yeah.
But all right, so you got to. I'm undefeated at this game, so you got to take my crown.
I think I could try to do that.
All right,
I'm gonna try to do that. I haven't been throwing very well lately, and I don't know why.
Well, we'll get you squared away.
Yeah.
So you can take my lunch money.
Yeah.
I'm down for this.
Yeah.
Oh man, I laugh. So I've been to this game. This is my fourth time, but the last three, so I won it. And they give you this. It's a really cool trophy, but it weighs like, I'm not joking, and it weighs probably 30 pounds.
Yeah.
It's so heavy, and because I think that it's like a marble base, and then got the metal cup and everything. And I'm like, how am I going to take this home? I can't check it, and I'm not going to walk around the airport. And so I stayed with Nikita and Frank, and for 2 years, and one of the years I stayed with Rob Muhlenberg. And so I made it a game that if I win, before I leave, I'm going to hide this in your house. And so I've hidden. So Rob, it took him like 9 months, I think, to find it. And then Nikita and Frank took them a while the first year. Then I had to tell him where it was, because Frank was doing a like house project with some valves and running water in his garden and stuff. And he just ordered a bunch of stuff from Amazon. So I hid his stuff, and I even wrote him a note. It's like, to get full participation, I hid all your crap for your garden with this, so you have to go find it. And then he texted me. He's like, where is this? Because I only have so much time to do this garden.
That's the craziest thing to do.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's good.
So they have 3 trophies now, 2 of them being mine and one Nikita won at 1 year.
Yeah.
But but yeah, hopefully you take my lunch money. And
Is the heavyweight like an actual heavyweight, or is it a wob that we're throwing for distance? Because out of the field, I saw a couple hammers, a couple weights. They looked really small, and I saw one wob.
So
and I was like, oh,
it depends on the year.
Okay.
So we throw a really garbage 22-pound hammer that probably is more like 26 pounds, and it's like throwing a freaking baseball bat.
I saw it. Yeah.
It's hot
I
garbage.
picked it up and
It's hot garbage.
I said, damn it.
Well, yeah, and I keep getting after Rob because he's like, yeah, it's fine tradition. It's like, no, it's not. This is awful.
It's a fine tradition.
It's like we don't have to.
Right.
And then but with the other implements, so some years Rob will bring another implement, but last year I think it was monsoonings. We're like, and we're all looking around. It's like, I don't think we brought another weight, so I guess we're throwing the wob. So, but he'll bring some more stuff tomorrow, and but I'm gonna lay it on thick to not throw the 90-pound heavy hammer. So, but yeah, I think I won it with like 91 feet last year. So there's not going to be any triple digits. I'll just tell you.
Are you able to kick in on like the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so we throw in the grassy area to the side of it for just that one event before.
Okay.
So that'll be the first event we throw.
Okay.
So before we have a ton of crowd in that area, we go off to the side and we throw the heavy hammer. So that one won't be bad.
It's actually a pretty cool venue because like there's like bleachers and it's a shaded bleacher, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, and Bo Fay has nominated the poor man's Celtic because it's just the pros.
Yeah.
So he's like, I love it. It's the poor man's Celtic.
That's exactly what this is.
And it's sad that he's not going to be able to make it, but because I love me some Bo Fay.
Yeah.
But no, he's like, yeah, it's the poor man's Celtic, and I mean, the crowd is awesome every year, and actually last year the chieftain of the games or whatever they call him, like I think that he gave me a bottle of scotch that he wasn't supposed to give me, like a very expensive bottle of scotch last year, and then Finney's the AD, and Finney's like, just take it. You're not supposed to have it, I don't think. Just go. Like, he's the chieftain. You just do it. You do what he says, and like, let's leave. He gave me like a legit like $350 or $400 bottle of scotch. So
nice.
Like, done.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll enjoy that.
Yeah. Consider this enjoyed. But yeah, he was like stumbling around. He's like, I have this for you, and Finn's like, we've never given anything like that away to the athletes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I still have it. I still have the bottle. I haven't figured out a reason to open it yet.
Yeah.
But it's like it's sitting next to the one that I bought when I was in Scotland in 2015, which now it's like I bought it for $100, like 75 pounds when I was there, and now it's worth like $1,200. Like, what am I going to do with a $1,200 bottle of scotch for no reason?
Right. Just hold on to it.
Yeah,
keep holding on to it. I guess.
Yeah, that's so I've got like 2 bottles that I'll probably just like have for forever.
Yeah.
Like maybe if I ever actually officially retire, maybe I'll crack it open. But
see, I'd convince myself. I'm like, dude, it's meant to be drunk, so we drink it, and then I'm gonna be like really mad afterwards. Like, why did I do that? The impulse is too strong. Like,
yeah, and I love scotch. I really do, and part of the reason why I haven't drank it is because my wife doesn't like scotch at all. So it's like it has to be, and I'm not going to drink a bunch of really expensive scotch by myself.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll have to get some friends over to drink it. So
I've drank a lot of really cheap scotch and then clean the house. I think that's a fun thing to do.
See, that's just being efficient.
Yeah.
that's just super efficiency right there.
Yeah, need some Cuddy Sark and a vacuum cleaner when we go to town.
Oh man, see that? All right, I'm in. I'll let you know how mine goes.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then you get left over with like that much in the bottle. You're like, I better finish it. It's not going to keep. Like, I got to get rid of it.
Yeah, this will go bad in 400 years. You know, like, got to get rid of it before it goes bad.
Have you ever watched Arrested Development?
Yeah.
That was like one of those ongoing jokes in that show. Like each time they open a bottle, like, I better finish it. It's not going to keep.
Yeah.
It's just a lie that their family told each other.
It's like it only works with wine. It's like all this hard liquor that legitimately will last forever. It's like honey. It just doesn't go bad. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
How long? Well, let's start here. what got you into the games?
Oh man, so
Because I've heard some things, but I want to hear from you.
yeah, so honestly, it started with my older brother. So he's very musically talented,
Mm.
like can play so many instruments, and he just like got a weird hair, and it's like I want to learn to play the bagpipes.
Okay.
So we lived near Kansas City at the time, and so he actually went to the St. Andrew Pipe and Drum in Kansas City and learned how to play. And then we were going to festivals and stuff to support him. And my younger sister, picked up the Scottish dancing, and so she was actually a premier Scottish dancer. So she got paid to do that too. And then my dad, who was 6'6", probably like 375, like big old strong, he was like, I think I can throw stuff. So he picked it up, and I picked it up right after him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like 2002, I think, was his first games, and then I started early 2003, I believe.
So Isaac's older than you.
No, he's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
He just aged poorly. He's had a hard life.
Yeah, that's what I tell people.
Old swamp Jesus.
Lived a rough life.
Yeah. No, I work a desk job, and he works a hard construction job, so it has a way of aging you. Yeah. But he's 2 years younger than me. So there's eight kids. I've got 7 siblings, and
Jeez.
so yeah. So my
What are you, Amish?
Well, no. Apparently, my parents just like to bang.
All right. Fair enough.
But it's like, so my older sister Jennifer, so she actually made it to the Women's World Championships once in the Highland Games too, right around the time that she started having kids. So she was very talented at the games. Then my older brother Matthew is the one that plays the bagpipes. Then me. Then Isaac. Then Hannah, who is the professional dancer. Then Emily, who is the GOAT, at least in my opinion, the GOAT lightweight athlete, and holds a couple records that I'm pretty sure will never be broken in the Highland Games.
Right.
Which the youngest person to ever qualify for Women's Worlds, she was 13 years old the first time that she qualified. She competed at 14. Not joking.
Oh,
and she like legit qualified too.
I gotta get my girls throwing then.
It's like partly it was so right now, from top to bottom, the women's class is freaking stacked.
Yeah. Then
you had some really, really good throwers. Like, it was very top heavy, but it doesn't have the depth that it does now. Mm-hmm. And so she would go, and I don't think that she ever got last even at Worlds. Maybe her first year, but she was a very young teenager when she qualified.
Right.
But she's an unbelievable athlete. Mm-hmm. She just, you'd never guess it by looking at her, because she was like 5'5", 5'6", somewhere in there, and like, she's a lightweight, so under 150. She got up to maybe 160s when she was in the big girl classes, but yeah, she's, in my opinion, she's the GOAT lightweight thrower. And then I got 2 younger brothers that kind of dabbled in it, but they didn't go super far with the games. So, but for some reason, we can throw things far. Our family is good at it. I don't know. Yeah,
I was told that you guys were homeschooled and this was your PE.
Well, it turned out that way. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
So you are homies.
Oh yeah, 100%. We went to school where
your older brother plays the bagpipes. That's a very homey thing to do.
Very much. So, well, and Emily actually she's a very, very good bagpiper as well. Yeah. So Emily is fantastic. So both of them are very good. And but yeah, no, we got our PE credits by going and competing and practicing, and I think a conservative number, when Isaac and I were still in high school, a conservative number was probably about 30 hours a week we spent throwing. Yeah. Like, just out in the field throwing. I would say that's conservative for the first probably 2 years that we did this. And there's a lot of reps were put in, and picking people's brains, because we got to see Sean Betts. You've run into Sean Betts and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Familiar with Sean Betts, yeah.
So, but yeah, just phenomenal technician. And for some reason, he decided to help out Isaac and I. I mean, mistake number one, but
Yeah.
but he helped a lot. So, and but yeah, we've been around for forever. I've been at a lot of people's first and last games.
Hmm.
Like, man, I was at Dan McKim's first and last games. I think, I think that I was also at Matt Vincent's first and last games.
Okay.
So him and Andy went to a games down south together. I think it was. Don't quote me on that. It might not have been their first. It was definitely their first year.
Hmm.
But I was at that games when he was in. We weren't even in the same class.
Right.
But they were there, and then I was definitely at his last games, but yeah, I've been around for a minute.
Yeah. Well, and there's a ton of benefit to just being around it long enough, like especially like starting at like a young age is just the reps on reps on reps.
Oh yeah.
And like that's what I tell people is like there's guys like you and your brother and Scott Farr, like who started like young, like you guys have more reps than anyone because you just had more time doing it.
Oh yeah. Well,
And so like so your knowledge of the throws are so far beyond what most people like understand.
I mean, yes, I would say that I've been a student of the technique for a long time, and I say that, and I would never, maybe not never, but I've never yet taught somebody to throw anything the way I throw it.
Right.
Because it just doesn't work the way that I throw and my cues and the technique that I use. I'm not going to teach somebody else to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have watched so many throwers also, not just even from like watching online and tearing apart old videos, but I've just been around some of the best throwers ever, and just like, oh, I'm 10 feet. And luckily at the time, I also had the wherewithal to be like, oh, that's one of the best throwers of all time that I get to watch.
Yep.
Like I'm 10 feet from Dan McKim throwing. I watched him throw over 130 in the heavy hammer. Like I witnessed that.
Which isn't real.
No, that's a fake number.
That's a fake number. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. I watched that with my own two eyes. I've watched, Chuck Casson throw just for years, just the uber consistency that man could produce every single week. And it's like, I mean, granted, Chuck is one of my best friends in the games, and it's just like, I also knew it's like, yeah, this guy is just he's going to be a classic, even though he was, I mean, for lack of a better term, he was kind of a flash in the pan. He didn't have a ridiculously long career.
Right.
Not that he couldn't have continued.
Right. But yeah, it wasn't incredibly long. 4 or 5 years at most.
At the peak.
Yeah.
But he was, I think it was right at a decade that he, from his first games till his last games. Because I was at Chuck's first games also.
You know whose first game you were at? Mine.
Which one's that?
The Topeka games in 2016.
I was there.
You were there. Okay, so yeah, I've told this on the podcast before, this story, but you're actually here because you're one of the people I've mentioned. Because it was you, your brother Spencer, Chuck, and
Dan was there.
No, Dan wasn't.
Andy was there.
Andy was there, and I was stoked to just be able to like, oh, I gotta watch these guys, because I signed up for the games really early, or had like the idea that like I'm gonna sign up for it. So whenever it went live, like I signed up, and it was like 8 months of me like throwing stones in the backyard, trying to get ready for it, watching YouTube videos. I seen you with Nate brand goods on your shirt and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I poured through like all these old videos, and I had a pretty good understanding of who you guys were, and like I was very stoked to like watch you guys throw. And then I had my whole family, like they support me in everything that I do, so they were all there.
Yeah.
And like they're talking with you and Chuck, and they're like, at the end of the day, they're like, these guys are just so nice. I'm like, I know, it's crazy. Like the best in this sport, the best ever, are like just the nicest, coolest people.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it doesn't hurt that Spencer that day also threw like almost a 50-foot Bramer stone.
Right.
Like that was incredible.
I it's been enough years now. All the records have been broken, but the tape measure was short, like 2 feet, and
Yeah, yeah. So,
no one really acknowledged it for a while.
well, so he did throw a 50-foot,
Yeah,
and then they came up like, guys, this is
yeah,
we just figured out this is so like so it ended up being like 48 and change is
yeah,
what his throw was. But when we were measuring it, we were like all freaking out because it did say 50 feet
yeah.
on there. But no, we had to adjust it all down.
Okay.
It's like even so.
Because Spencer, I think he threw the heavyweight world record that day,
And then
and he broke it after that even further. But
yeah. I can't remember what all because it was really hot that day. I remember we were all having an issue with our tape staying on our hands, so it was very hot that day. But
yeah, I think there's video of him where like his thumb tape just goes off with the handle.
oh yeah, that was a fairly common occurrence, but it was worse that day than most.
Yeah,
And that was also the day that Francis Brebner was there.
yeah, Franny was there,
And but they were supposed to get him a sound system to announce, and nobody brought a PA system for him.
That's that's not surprising at all.
So he was, I mean, he was just out there like yelling at people. It's like, whoops.
Yeah, and well, see, like I didn't know who Francis was at the time, and some guy who I was throwing with, he's like over there. I'm like, yeah, he's one of the best ever. And I was like, oh, is he really? Like, yeah, look at him. I'm like looking at him like oh, he's pretty fucking jacked.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah,
that's a jacked senior citizen over there.
He's half of what he used to be.
No, when in the mid '90s, dude, that guy was yoked.
Yeah, the tank. Yeah, dude.
Yes. Yeah. What's the? Oh, I'm gonna blank on his name. We call him the Chief. He's like a 5-time world champion, and my brain isn't braining. But
I don't know.
Oh, Pete's sake! Well, it kind of ruins the story when I can't remember his name. But
Right.
but no, it was the same thing. We were at Pleasanton, and he's just over watching, and then I go over and I was like, hey, you guys all need to go say hi to that guy. I'm like, oh, who's that? Nobody, no, like, it's like, that's a 5-time world champion. I'm like, oh, so they all go over there and go say hi, and they get him to actually come in because he's just there hanging out.
Yeah.
And he's super, super humble and everything, but it's like, that guy was the best thrower and probably is still the best caber thrower of all time.
Mm.
So, and as soon as we leave here, I'm going to remember his name.
Yep.
But
I'll plug it into the video and just have it.
Yeah, it's like
like a robot voice. Just plug it in right there.
Or just put like his name is.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. So
yeah.
But no, and that's part of the things. Like I'm glad that we have people like Beaufait that are just huge historians and will keep all of this, because honestly, because it was like David Webster who passed away last year. It's like that was one of the guys that just needed to have a camera in his face and just record every single story, because he's just a wealth of not just Highland Games, but just strength sports in general. And there's just not a lot of those historians in our current game. And I think that it's good to also know the history and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And because that's not that long ago that these guys were doing that.
I've been on a like a vintage Highland Games kick lately. I've been going through the deep bowels of YouTube and watching like old Highland Games footage.
Dude, that Gerloff Holkema or whatever the guy on YouTube.
You're aware of him too.
That guy, that guy's doing the Lord's work. Let's be real. It's not just Highland Games, just everything on there is gold.
I went through his entire channel, all 3,940 something videos, and pulled out every single Highland Games video and put it on a playlist, because he has no playlist.
No.
He's got thousands and thousands of videos. None of it's organized. So I started at the bottom and worked my way all the way to the top, pulled out every single Highland Games clip and put them in a playlist. And all of Ryan Vieira's videos of him throwing are in there. on this playlist. Haven't gone through Matt Vincent's yet. I think I grabbed McKim's footage. Anyone who's like done Highland Games on YouTube, I'm going through their channels and pulling all of it, putting it in this playlist. It's called A World History of Highland Games.
Yeah.
And it has right now like 500 videos on it. It is, and I've roughly estimated it, and I think it's like 600 hours of footage. So if you guys ever want to watch that, like, it's there.
100%. Oh, did you? I think that he reshared it, but the 2016 World Championships in Alaska is also on YouTube. Have you seen that one?
Yep.
It's all in the different language and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, that's one that I sometimes go back and watch because I'm in it. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
And the HG Live, that's another one that I added to the playlist because that stuff's golden. Because like the one I go back and watch a lot, and you're in it, is Salt Lake in 2018, I think.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Something like that.
So,
but I go back and watch those because like of the HG Live videos, those are some of the best ones.
Well, so funny story about that. I don't think that Spencer ever really told any of that story because there was a lot. There was like over a week and probably more for him of like prep because that was all done like legit live.
Yeah.
That was all live streamed. That's what was available for you to watch at the time of, and then Ryan Stewart was announcing and everything, and Isaac and I ended up bringing out one of my buddies from Mason City where I live to help. So he ran the whole board for us. And, and it was like a whole production, and him and Spencer literally stayed up for hours and hours the night before, making sure that we had all of the cues and it was, I mean, it was kind of an amazing, and I was really sad that didn't explode. Right. Because that was proof positive that we can make a pretty solid product without a ton of overhead. Like, I mean, granted, Spencer had a lot invested in that, but it wasn't as crazy as a lot of people were saying. And we were hoping that a lot of games would pay for that to happen because it was freaking 4K video and having good quality product that you can use for years. Right. But there wasn't as much interest in that as we thought.
Well, we have a population problem of Highland Games. Is that like worldwide there are 5,000-6,000 of us. Yeah, active competitors. There's 6,000, and then so even if you expand that to 2 people that know you that want to watch something that you're doing, like, you know, everyone has those 2 people, and that's still zero compared to like what dollars equal.
Correct. And I would even say that the live stream aspect of it isn't necessarily going to reach a ton of people. That's you still need to take the raw footage and edit it down and make a palatable maybe half hour.
So I think that the better option is, I mean, like, I think a live stream should be up for the people that want to watch it live.
I agree.
Because like if my friends are in I don't know, Alaska throwing, like I want to watch them. I want to watch them on the day. I want to comment and be like, that sucked, do better, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Or good job, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, throw far if you want to.
Yeah, I don't care.
You have my permission.
Yeah. So like, I think that should always be at the games. I think someone should have a phone out doing a live stream if they can. I think we would do way better if the Ultimate Heavy Athletics from back in the day, that was on ESPN. The formatting of that was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you're going for a half hour minus commercial break essentially, so you're going for like 22 minutes.
So what they did was, for the people who don't want to go to my playlist and watch the video, they had, because it was at Celtic in 2004 or something like that. One of them, the one that I watched recently.
Yeah, I think that there's the one that Vieira went like 93 or whatever, I think is around that time.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was like 2003, I think. Maybe.
yeah. It's something like that. And so there are 10, 12 guys on the field. They only show you the top throws, top 5 throws of each
Mm-hmm.
event. So if you're sixth place all day long at every event, you're not getting airtime. But they would show you, like, your name would be on the board when they show like the scores and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and like people moving up and down after each event. So that they would show you the top 5 throws, and then they would give you the numbers of like everyone's distances, that even the ones you didn't see.
Yeah.
And then so like some guys who are like good at wob, and like the wob specialists like aren't really good at weights or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you wouldn't see them, but you would see them when their opportunity
Yeah,
came at
but
wob, and like it formatted perfectly. It's very entertaining, and you got to see the best of each thing.
yeah, and that's the same thing with like World's Strongest Man.
Mhm.
They do the same thing. Not everybody gets TV time.
Right.
Like, it was a little sad because I have a couple of friends that went a couple of different years.
Yeah.
That he was in the same he was in the same heat as Zadrunas,
Yeah.
right at the kind of the tail end of his powers, but he was actually beating him in a bunch of stuff, and then.
But he's not Zadrunas, so.
But yeah, so you just didn't get a lot of airtime the first year, and then the second year he was there, he was, if he didn't blow out, I think it was a quad in a squat. If he didn't hurt himself very badly, I think he would have made the finals that year. But it was like you just didn't see him as much as he probably should have been the second year. But
right.
But also, it's okay. It makes good TV, and I think that there's enough. You can't do 10 shows a year. I don't think that there's because it's the same thing. What Strongman has is, there's different events, and they're lifting a car this time. Now they're lifting stones. Now, like, there's stuff that I know this is heavy.
Yeah,
and then now
each
you're
show
seeing
is
them
different
all.
and stuff like that. I think, and this is like I think the best example for a sports documentary or docu-series ever, and it's the Formula One series on Netflix called Drive to Survive, I think.
Ooh,
I haven't seen it. It makes Formula One really cool because, like, in the States, we don't watch Formula One.
No,
we have. If you're into car racing, like it's NASCAR and some other American shit.
Yes, maybe dragging.
Right.
Some like, drag racing, but that's it.
Or like nowadays, like drifting. Maybe you're a drift person, but like everywhere else, it's like soccer. Everywhere else, like it's huge. Formula One is big all over the world except in America. But I started watching this show like a couple of years ago when it first came out, and I was like, this is good. Like they're showing like all the drama and stuff like that. The thing is, like, they don't show every race.
Yeah,
because there's 32 races in a season or something like that. Maybe it's way less. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I just watched the show, and like they'll be in Silverstone Raceway, and like they won't show that race. They'll just give you the results of like really quickly how that shook out. And then they go on
like a highlight maybe of the race.
Yeah, they kind of like just pan over it, and then they go on to the next thing that push the storyline along. And I think if we had any sense and any people with real talent in media, we could do something like that. But we don't. We don't have.
Yeah, and there's the same thing with like Full Swing. Have you seen any of the golf? There's a Netflix. I mean, I just randomly started to get into golf last few years.
Yeah, you would.
And I'm horrible at it. I'm straight hot garbage. But I was watching Full Swing on Netflix. It's like, yeah, and that's the same thing every single week.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same top guys that are winning all these tournaments, but so many people still watch it.
Right.
And it does take. You actually care about the people. There's storylines that are happening. There is a little bit of drama in there. You can, somebody that's good at this can make what we do very entertaining.
Yep. And like really what it comes down to is like we need an eccentric millionaire who not a billionaire. We don't need that kind of money. Just normal.
Normal, maybe a couple $100 million.
Normal rich people stuff. We need them to like float the bill to have like a documentary crew that's willing to travel around the country and like give interviews and watch like film training footage that leads into a season.
Yeah.
And
commit to like 3-4 episode
Right.
kind of
And
mini
I
series.
think that's something like what they do with the heavies. Was it the heavies?
Mm-hmm.
Not the well. I guess the old one because there's one in the '80s. Was it '80s? No, it was '70s
I'm not
with
sure.
Jeff Capes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that probably would have been 80s.
Either way,
But yeah, somewhere in that stretch of the time.
it's on the playlist. Like the old heavies and the new one that they filmed in like 2016 and then released in like 2020 or
Yeah,
something like
exactly,
that.
exactly.
I remember watching like Matt Vincent videos and like he like mentioned the fact that like they were doing like a documentary about the Highland Games.
Yeah.
And then nothing ever came of it until one day I saw on like Instagram they're like, it's coming. It's like it's here.
So we had when I was there in 2015, there was a camera crew that came to I think four of the games that I was at.
Yeah.
And so there's a ton of footage somewhere of all of that stuff too, but
Yep.
we have no clue where that is because I've never seen it.
Is good footage on a good camera. That's what I like. I want to see more of Highland Games is like quality footage filmed by a professional, like on a good camera, not like your Panasonic Lumix, like a real TV camera.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I want to see.
And I want to see Lorne blasted out of his mind throwing 84 feet with a horrible 28-pound weight at where was that? The Island of Mull.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, have you ever been to Scotland? Have you gone there to throw yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, all right. So go to Mull. You pull your car onto a ferry. They drive you. It takes probably 45 minutes to maybe an hour that you're on this ferry, and then they pull you up and you get in your car but they have like a whole restaurant and everything in there. And Lorne is so this is the first time I've ever met him. Like this was 2015, so he'd been in the games for a few years and was really good, but he was very plastered. he had so there's like the big old beers, and he had 8 of them in the on the ride, and then he got double fist to go to the games, and then he got one at the games. So he's 11 beers deep before we threw the first thing. He's like, "This is my drinking games." Crushed us all into a fine powder, just blasted out of his mind. And there was a camera crew there, so I'm pretty sure I know why that footage never surfaced. But I'm like, this is the first time I've ever met this guy. It's like, that is an amazing athlete right there.
Right.
Like you're staggering around and just annihilating us all day. It was quite possibly the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Right.
11 crowlers deep. And he's like, "This is my drinking games." Oh, great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I don't know what ever happened to all of that footage, because there's some really good games and some really top throwers in some cool, like Island of Mull is a really cool spot.
Yeah.
And then they were also at St. Andrews when I threw there, and that was crazy because we're literally on one of the fairways. We're tearing up a fairway, and this was after whatever the Open was, like literally the week after the Open.
Yeah.
And so all the ground crews, like all the Scottish guys are just like throwing and tearing up.
Yeah.
They've been there before, and I'm like, are we supposed to be doing? Like they're literally out there just tearing up this ground, and the grounds crew came over like, yeah, 100%. Our job is done. We're here to watch you guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, after this, will you take us on because nobody's allowed to go walk out there. It's like 100%. So they escorted like me and Ryan Stewart and a handful of other athletes, and they just let us walk the grounds at St. Andrews, and it was like, that was cool. And but yeah,
I gotta make it out there.
Yes, you do.
I planned on doing a trip this year, like this summer, but a new baby, so the baby said like, "Don't go," and I'm like, fine, I'll stay here.
Babies fly free.
Do they?
Yeah, under 2 years old, babies fly for free.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to do that. That's
a baby for 14 to 15 hours in a plane.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
He'll probably be pretty chill. It's just the whole family going over there. I don't know if they would want to.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, another castle and another games. Great.
Oh, so I was there for 14 days. We did 11 games in 14 days.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
That's what I want.
Yeah, it was awesome. And
I mean, like I hear stories of like that's what Vieira did back in the day. Like that's how like he made his nut for the year.
Yeah.
By just going to Scotland for a month,
Mhm.
and like he just ran the circuit. And
like him and Larry Brock did the same thing.
Like and they would all travel together and things like that. And like that's
and I found out that once we got there that some of the top guys will share like, hey, because there's like sometimes 3-4 games on the same day.
Yep.
Like, hey, I'm going here, you're going here. Like they divvy up the games, so they're not just at one of the games when there's multiple to choose from, and they're battling it out for the prize money, and so they kind of communicate as to where everybody's going. So
yeah, I like that. That's I really just like the fact that there's that much opportunity to throw.
Yeah,
and it's that close. Like everything's close together.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, I got to drive 4 hours, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, like okay, do you know how long I drove here? Do you know what that distance was for me, like time wise?
No,
it was 19 hours.
That's gross.
It would have been 17, but I was going without GPS. I was kicking old school. I was like, I know how to get myself across the United States very easily. I get to St. Louis and I go east. I start going northeast, which is what I had been doing for all the other games I've been going to the last year, and instead of going like southeast to go here. Either way, I went the wrong direction for a while.
So do you not have an airport close to you?
We do. I like to drive.
Says nobody ever. It's the worst.
I'm the fucking road warrior. Like this is my jam. See, like I get to see cool things on the road that I can't get to see in a plane. Like planes are very convenient. There are some downsides with them. One, I'm not in control. I got to rely on these people and their stupid ass rules that I don't want to obey. And like if they decide to say like, hey, you can't do that or can't be here or whatever, like I got to be like, well, I have no recourse for this. I guess I have to listen to you. That sucks. I don't like that. In my car, I'm the king. So that's cool. Two, I don't trust them to handle my fork. My fork is my money maker. I do very well in sheaf. And if my fork breaks or comes up missing, I am screwed.
Yeah.
I have an unhealthy relationship with that fork.
Right? Yeah. I've never had an issue, but I have seen plenty of horror stories.
Well, like, what's his name? Matt Doherty, when we were at Lightweight Worlds in 22, his bag didn't show up. His $360 kilt was in there, gone. I don't think he ever got it. So, like, that sucks.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in my car, right? But like, so there's that, and you don't get to see all the cool America, which I saw a lot of America today.
Oh man,
going through Amish country, they are. We'll get to the Amish in a second, but I have the time. Like I have plenty. I have all the time in the world to like be on the road.
Yeah.
I am flying to California next weekend. I'm not driving, just because that's a 2-day games, and so like it's 2 days there, 2 days at the games, 2 days back. That's 6 days. That's a week. I'm gone a week. Like that sucks. So I'll fly, but I don't know. It's nice. It's cheaper, and I have a car that gets good gas mileage. And it's getting better with age, as any good Toyota will. I think I got up to 38 miles per gallon in just a regular ass Camry. So pretty stoked on that.
That's pretty solid.
Sent a picture to my wife and I was like, look what I just did. I've been drafting behind semis all day, going down mountains.
I won't lie. I flew here, and then at Hertz I walked around and I picked the largest truck that they had. So I'm driving a Dodge Ram this week. So, but
I would prefer to drive a truck across country, but I have a car. So
yeah, that truck is pretty nice, although it has a garbage turning radius.
Yeah.
I thought that my F-150 had bad turning radius. That thing is hot garbage. But No, so I was like driving around the tiny little streets in Philadelphia to go to the place where I was playing volleyball, and I'm like, well, everything's a 2 point turn because
Yeah,
I
it's like Austin
yeah,
Powers.
yeah, 100%. I'm in this gigantor truck. That's the only time that I've ever been like, man, it's really nice to have this backup camera and these sensors here
Right.
because this would suck to try to figure out how to get this truck in where it needed to go.
Yeah.
But no, Isaac did the same thing a few times that as you just
Mhm.
um, his wife was pregnant 1 year, and he got a last minute invite to Portland,
Mhm.
and so he's like, all the kids at the time I think it was only 4 kids, or they had 3, and she was pregnant with 4, and so they all piled in the car, and he put it into his navigation system, and he's like, it's going to be bad when it started with 1 day, X amount of hours. He's like, oh, like, I'll be there after a day of driving. So
Right.
it's like, no thanks,
Yeah.
no thanks.
I got a body built for sitting, so like it's fine. Like see the stuff you see on the road is neat, except in like Kansas, Missouri, Ohio, Indiana, like that whole stretch right there coming
Yeah.
across.
Yeah,
It's the
you don't even get
same.
to go to southern Missouri where it's actually kind of cool down
Right.
there.
Yeah. Like it's we're like just it's Eastern Kansas extended. Like
Yeah.
it's not that it's all the same stuff. The trees kind of change a little bit. The all the houses and buildings and roads are built and done the exact same way. Once you get out like to the East Coast, like the roads and buildings and signage and things like that like changes. That's kind of interesting. How like they're living in like another country over here.
Yeah.
Um, but I've drove through Amish country today, and they have clotheslines that are like 30 feet off the ground. I don't know why. They're up there though.
It's a lot more wind up there.
I guess they're like I don't know, like that's like the speed cycle, I guess. Is like the higher you put it, the quicker it dries. It's closer to the sun, more wind. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I got to see all sorts of levels of Amish people. They had like I saw um, one person out there cutting grass with like the little push mower, like the rotary blade, like push mower.
Yep.
Actually, as a girl, she must have been like 10 years old. She was mad. Like she's like turning this thing, shaking it around.
See.
She did not want to be mowing the grass.
Hey, put them kids to work.
Right. And then
I'm about choring.
yeah. And then you got some other guys that they had like a steel like weed whacker that they're whacking weeds with.
Oh yeah.
And I was
yeah.
like, okay, what? So this is my issue. Is well, okay. Then I saw another guy.
At least be consistent.
Yeah, so he was spraying a field with his mules, and this was actually pretty neat because like he had 2 mules pulling a like 2-wheeled wagon, like that had sprayers on it, like any like big farming equipment would have, but they were just little.
Yeah.
And the tank on there, I'm pretty sure. I saw him for just a second. Pretty sure he was reaching back there, driving the mules with one hand, pumping this giant tank up to keep the pressure. And I was like, I like that.
That's awesome.
So that was kind of cool. But I got beef with the Amish people. One, they call us English. The hell is that? Okay. We're not from England. We're not English. That's just that's what they refer to non-Amish people.
Is it just because we speak English and not German, or what?
I guess. I have no idea. Okay. And they can't answer that because they won't answer it because they're not very nice. Most of them are not as nice as you would think. But that's most like super like orthodoxy kind of religious groups. Like they're not the most friendly to like other people that aren't in their group.
I mean, yeah, I would say that's probably
Like
accurate. Yeah.
Amish people, like Orthodox Jewish people, they're not like super nice or helpful to like the outside group, and that's why their community is so tight, is that they have their people, and everyone has their.
And we have quite a few Amish in more southern Iowa, but we have quite a few in Iowa as well. So
yeah, I've seen one. He pulled his buggy up. We stopped at a small grocery store. Like we're traveling in Minnesota, and we stopped at a grocery store to get some sandwich material. And he pulls up there in his little buggy. He's hanging out by the dumpster, eating candy or something, throwing trash in the dumpster. And went on his way.
A little Jebediah,
Yeah.
getting a Snickers.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah, but like the consistency bothers me as well, because like I guess there's like degrees of Amish, just like
Oh
there's
yeah,
degrees.
there's certain levels like, oh, we're allowed to have a phone for,
Right.
in these certain areas, and we're allowed to have electricity in our shops.
But
Yeah,
here's what I don't like about like their inconsistency is they have the English to do their bidding for them. Like they don't own trucks, which is actually pretty sick. If you're friends with the Amish people, they'll buy you a pickup truck, like a Dodge like 3500
just to do their bidding.
Mm-hmm. And like you work for them, but this is your truck because they don't own trucks, but they will buy you trucks.
I've found the loophole.
And it's not a joke. They are barn building motherfuckers. They build barns.
Oh yeah,
and they are very like, not just like wooden. Like you think like, oh, wooden barns. They're putting up like the frame. Like no, they're building like modern like steel buildings, and they're doing it better than everyone. That's impressive.
Well, and you got like 50 of them, and they all know exactly what's going on and what's next.
Yep.
And so it's just, you can watch a time lapse, and it feels like, oh, this has got to be a time lapse of like 3 weeks. Nah, that's like 4 hours.
Yeah, they'll build a barn in a day.
Yeah,
it was incredible. But sometimes they can use tools, and sometimes they can't. But like they'll also like make their English people do their bidding for them, which is I think it's cheating. It's a loophole. Come on, like loopholes aren't cool. But the thing that really gets me is the fact that they chose a year. I don't know what year it is. 1820, 1840.
that's the year that they live in.
That's the year they live in. But why does it progress? Like every year, you get a little bit more technology. You're just behind everyone else, or do you always stay in this year? I don't think they know. I don't think they know why they're doing what they're doing. It makes no sense to me.
Well,
this is what I don't like about the Amish. What I do like about the Amish is they got good horses.
Well, yeah,
they got good property. Like they treat their property very well. Like if you were to, you could see it. Like the people across the street from the Amish farms, their farms are horrible. There's just shit everywhere. Well, that truck broke down. We didn't fix it. We just left it there. Now weeds are growing through it.
Well, and the work ethic from those people is unbelievable and unmatched. Like there's a few good things that are happening over there, but yeah, the inconsistencies, I'm not sure. It still doesn't make any sense to me why you would want, like, oh, we have all of these modern conveniences that actually do make your life better.
Yeah.
It's not just making you soft. There's plenty of them that make your life better.
Yeah. But I don't know. My family's slowly transitioning into the Amish, I guess. We have goats now, and the girls are planning on making soap and selling soap, and they're selling chicken eggs and things like that. And
that's just homesteading. That's not actual Amishing.
I guess
that's fairly normal. So we did that growing up, and then I've got a bunch of friends that
we were practically Amish. We discussed this.
Yeah, practically.
I need a couple more kids though.
Get on that. Come on,
I don't really want to though. I'm fine with 3.
Yeah, that's what I had. I got 3, and then put my truck up on blocks. We straight up done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's also neat is that like every little farm has like a little not every farm, but they have like a little booth outside, like at the end of their driveway for selling flowers or eggs or.
Oh yeah.
The flowers was what got me. I thought was interesting. A lot of people were selling flowers, like bouquets of flowers.
So that's actually a big thing in Iowa. There's a few, like, just drive up, just you can even pay by Venmo and stuff like that. I mean, these aren't obviously Amish, but
you never know. They might.
Maybe, but that's like a really big thing that they just have the Letterkenny booth out there, and maybe there's somebody manning it, maybe not. But I think that's a great idea, to be honest.
I'm still tossing around the idea because we're getting more chickens. They're getting chickens tomorrow. They're getting 16 more, because we needed an even number. Yeah. I wanted 15 because that made sense to me. But we're getting 16 more tomorrow, and so we're gonna have a shit ton of eggs. And I was thinking like, oh, we could put them up on a little booth outside in the driveway.
Do you guys have so I used to raise chickens both in Kansas when we lived in Kansas and when we lived in Missouri. And I would do it at the farmer's market in Kansas occasionally. And do you guys have a farmer's market or anything cool like that?
We've got a farm. Because we live in a small town, and they have their summer farmer's market that I think will be, the girls will be hawking their wares over there.
Because let me tell you, kids can sell the crap out of some wares.
Oh yeah,
people love buying crap from kids.
Well, I told them I'm not making the soap and I'm not washing the eggs.
Yeah,
because the eggs I wash, I'm gonna eat. And so like when like they're trying to figure out like how many eggs that they have to sell based on the chickens we have right now, and I was like, well, I eat 6 eggs a day, 7 days a week. That's this many eggs, and you're getting this many eggs. So like you have a remainder of 3 dozen eggs a week to sell. And they're like, okay, we can start there.
Yeah.
But I'm washing my eggs, and you guys will have to deal
with the rest. Yeah. Oh man, no, so it wasn't eggs, but a handful of years ago, I don't know if you've ever heard of Ragbri. It's like it's across the state of Iowa, a huge bike ride. So they start on one side, and it's like 5 days that they stop at different areas. So they do the southern, then the middle, and then the northern ends of it, and they rotate them every year. And so when it comes through the northern end, a lot of the times they stop in Mason City. And our house was right by, so most of these people camp. And so they have to find a big area for, I mean, there's, I think, usually around 20,000 people that at least do a leg of it. And so there's a park near our house. And so, and that's going to be the thing. So it's like, hey, you guys want to sell lemonade to all the people that are coming in?
Yeah.
So the kids were all stoked on this.
Yep.
And then the morning before everybody showed up, this guy pulls up and he's like, well, I've got to put the showers right here. This is where we have to tie into the water, is right here outside of your house. So whatever you have in there, quadruple it and you're going to make bank.
Yeah.
So we went and did that, and the kids literally hawked lemonade all day and at $1 a glass. And they sold cookies and some random other stuff like that. And they made over $500 in a day. Two of my kids, I was like, guys, you'll never have a better lemonade. Yeah. Like your first one, you just hit a home run. Like we're done. Like,
yep.
They made over $500.
That's day. Crazy.
It was, but there's so many people. And then all I did, I just sat on my lawn chair doing my work. I was working on my computer and whatever. And whenever I saw the lemonade get a little lower, I'd go top them off. But they did everything else. They took the money, gave change. They did everything. And I think my daughter was 9. And so they're like 6 and 9. And they were just hawking so much lemonade. But yeah, I'm all about the entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we homeschool too. So like, this is part of our curriculum. Like you got to like do things.
Yeah.
Like you can't just do the book. There's so much more that, like, this is why we're doing it, is so you can do so much more. So find more to do. And they're like, we're gonna make soap, goat milk soap, because we love that shit. Everyone loves that shit. So.
No, I'm a big fan of homeschooling, and my wife literally just called me today, and we've been inching closer to homeschooling every single year. And now with my job, I think that we can support us fully on my income, and so like it's more feasible now than it ever has been. So, right. And man, I really like it. So, and I work from home most of the time anyway, so it would make sense that I could help too. So,
yeah. Well, and like for me, it's like that's one of the things that I wanted when like in life is like I want to homeschool the kids, and I want to retire by I'm 35, and retire just like not wearing the uniform and clocking in at 6 a.m. every day to drive a truck kind of thing. And I accomplished those goals. I have those. I don't have to go to work every day, and I can be at home with my kids all day long. I quite enjoy it. They're pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Well, so
until they're not.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're cool, yeah. But then, yeah, there's always a level of suck about being a parent.
Yeah.
But no, during COVID, I started working from home, and that was the best.
Yeah.
Like I get to spend a lot more time with my kids, and at that time, I was working a job that maybe I worked 3 hours a week, 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Maybe I mean I had to be available to work the rest, but
Yeah.
I was just very good at what I did, and so
Right.
the actual work that I was doing wasn't very in depth. So, but yeah, that was a huge transition. Like I don't want to ever go back to an office. So
Yeah. I drove trucks for a long time, delivering beer, or milk, or delivering cabinets and things like that, and I hated it. I'd have to go to bed at like 9 o'clock at the latest, just to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning or earlier.
Yeah.
And just deal with like the worst people on the worst days every day. It sucked.
Yeah.
And it made me grind my teeth, because driving trucks are scary. You would like tells you like driving a semi is not like scary and stressful, is either like just a dumb person or they're lying to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know some guys I work with that like they're, God bless them, they're great guys. They're not like super intelligent, and they're like, this is not a big. It's like it's no big deal.
Just I have a truck.
It's just drive it. I'm like, no, like, but like if you hit a car with this, those people are dead.
Well, and you can't slow down very fast.
You will kill everyone you come in contact with in this thing. There's no like, oh, I hit by a semi and like they broke an arm. Like, no, they died. That's how this happens, and it's on you. I don't like that. That sucks.
Oh man, yeah, and it doesn't slow down very fast. So no, I even loved. So I went to a conference thing, and at the Amazon booth, because they wanted to educate people on how hard it is to drive. They have a full VR like drive an Amazon truck.
Yeah.
And so back into some areas, driving on the interstate, and here's all the like, and everybody crashed them. Yeah. I didn't see a single person that could back this into a bay without crashing it. It was the funniest thing. And he's like, well, this is 100% what it is. He got on there and he could drive it and he could do all this stuff. It's like, this isn't a trick to like, this is hard.
You ever seen those like videos on Instagram of like, there's that one guy who goes to the gym and like, he's like a janitor and he's got a mop that weighs like 60 pounds or whatever. Yeah. And he's like deadlifts, whatever, like they're bench pressing.
Yeah, Vitoli or whatever
it
is. Yeah.
Like I want to do that with like, or like that simulators going there like, oh, what does this button do? And then just start whipping it around, like run through the gears.
And those things are really cool. Like it's a legit training aid. They have the screens that are 360 screens and everything. And that'd be fun. Oh yeah, that would be exactly what you would go do. I mean, I'm good at stuff like that, but even I was like, wow, I'm crashing this. Like, I took this right through that wall. Like, I got close, but people don't realize how like slow it actually slows down. Like,
I would love like a driving simulator, like a good driving simulator, like in my house. I think that'd be super fun. Or a flight simulator.
Flight simulators are awesome too. I'm a huge nerd like that too. Yeah. So I even just like the VR stuff. Have you ever done much VR?
No, I was like original VR in like 2013. Like where you put your phone in, like in the thing,
and you rode a roller coaster.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, my God.
Yeah, and
my dad takes off running, like leaning forward as he's like running to the ground.
Yeah,
I'm like, stop.
So my favorite one because I have just like one of the quests and the Meta Quest, and I love there's a walk the plank game. So I just have a board that up in our attic space. I have it set up. So you put this on, and you're in an elevator up on the top of a skyscraper, and you walk out on this plank, and so you're feeling with your feet. It's like, oh, there's actually a plank here because it's there in real life, and you're walking on this plank, and you're just out over the top of this city, and you can legitimately fall off of this. And so if you fall, you fall and everybody's like freaking out all the way down because it feels real.
Yeah.
and then there, you can also fly around the city
Our
and stuff like that.
freaking ape brains cannot handle
No,
that. We can't process what's happening.
no, it's
It's too
like,
new.
and everybody's like, this doesn't look real, but it feels real.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says, because it does. It feels real, and it's Cartoon City. It
Yeah.
looks like a cartoon city. It does not look real, but man, it feels real while you're in it.
What I really like, and we're a couple years away from this being like kind of commonplace, right? The Apple Vision Pros or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, that like you can see through them. It's like augmented reality.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of augmented reality, not for what other people want. What people want is to look around the world and have it look like you're in Ready Player One or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
What I want is like when I'm working on my Forerunner, I want the YouTube video popped up in the corner of my screen and like a schematic over here, and I can see my whole engine bay and things like that. That's what I want. That
So
makes sense.
in my job right now, there's a lot of I work in warehousing and a bunch of different other aspects, and a lot of companies. So like Coca-Cola and um, John Deere and a couple other ones, they use augmented reality to do all of their scanning and inventory control.
Okay.
And it's almost exactly what you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
they walk up and they're wearing these glasses, and it will literally scan. They know what they need to get for what customer, and it'll scan all the stuff. And it's like, pick 3 of these,
Mm-hmm.
and they just literally pick up whatever boxes, and the glasses will scan it, and it'll tell you this, like,
Yeah.
here's what you need left,
Yeah.
and here's where to go. It's like, it's cool. Like the technology is there.
Yeah, that's what I want. And like, so like in my office, I got a bunch of monitors set up, but like I can only do so much like at the computer. Like I got a ton of wall space,
Mm-hmm.
so I put up sticky whiteboards all over my walls, and it's like it's tracking all of my stuff for the games that I'm putting on, video stuff, podcast stuff, like behind me. Like I have whiteboards everywhere. But if I could just put on like the goggles and like it's just all
it's virtual.
yeah, it's just in like every time I go into that room, boom, those are already on the walls in that room. I'm like, that would be ideal. And like that's not technology like ruining the human experience. That's like that would be enhancing the human experience.
Yeah,
because too much of technology these days is it's there to keep people like passive and in their lane and in their bubble.
Yeah, and you can do some of that stuff right now with some of the higher end glasses, but you're still like, it's not just the glasses here. It's you're wearing the whole.
See,
set.
like I'm okay with like a good big headset, like the Apple Vision Pros, but like it's $3,000 and the computing power is not that good.
Yeah,
you need to hook the Mac Mini block to the back of it to like give you like any kind of juice.
Yeah.
And so like in 5 to 10 years, like
yeah,
we're getting good. We're going to get good glasses, and they're going to be $400.
Oh yeah, and I'm
except
100% here for it too. I've always been a nerd. I love this sort of stuff.